So one of my biggest complaints about Microsoft is they haven't been really doing the deals like they used to in the past, and I know people really kind of look at and they kind of go, "Oh, well, things have changed," or what does Sony do? Like, listen, it's not necessarily Sony and Microsoft and how they do things differently. Like, Sony obviously bought a year exclusivity on something like Silent Hill 2 remake, really great game, and a game that Microsoft obviously wishes they had on their platform, and that's a really kind of well-known game, and it's doing well for Sony, and that's like a big game. You look at stuff like Final Fantasy, that's a big game. You look at stuff like and there's multiple Final Fantasy games, right? And I think that's awesome. I think that's really cool the way that they kind of get that, and that's business, right? That's business. If you've got a product, you want people to go to you, and you want people to kind of skip the other guys. And I think that's what Sony does best. They're in it to sell their console. They're in it to make people happy who bought their platform, and that's all there is to it. When it comes to Microsoft, they do things a little bit differently. There's not really that big third-party deal that we would normally see. They get they end up with like some of the smaller ones or whatever, and they do get some stuff in Game Pass that I feel like that they can kind of come about in a different way or whatever. But again, this is a little bit something different. It looks like they could be having a game for longer than we thought, and still, I have to believe if Microsoft thought, hey, let's make a deal for this game and for some kind of exclusivity, I have to feel that they still think that it's important to have some type of exclusivity. So anyway, let's get into it. I'm Crap Gamer. This is Crap Gamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I certainly appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Please like the video, share it out, and you know what? If you guys want to subscribe, please do so. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. I know that's past or whatever, but still, continue to. I hope you guys got some good stuff, some games and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, when it comes to kind of what Xbox is doing, Stalker 2 is a big part of that. A lot of people like that game. Listen, it doesn't have to be a game for me specifically for me to go, okay, well, that's something that that I shouldn't talk about or whatever, because by all intents and purposes, this is a really good game, and it's a game that people are enjoying. It actually did fairly well in terms of sales and stuff, and did fairly well, and it didn't get amazing review scores, but it got pretty good review scores. And the game had a lot of issues, but we all know what was going on with like the development and kind of what was going on there behind the scenes. So I think it's kind of an amazing thing that this game came out at all. They were quick to kind of fix some of this stuff, and at the end of the day, that's all you can ask for. So the people that play it seem to love it and think that it is a fantastic game. And we know back from the Xbox situation with the FTC that there were some leaks that came out from that. Obviously people kind of looked at it and were saying, well, are you guys doing deals for this type of content or whatever? And it came out that that was like a 3-month kind of paid exclusive contract or whatever, and again, we live in a world where I think you need like some of these exclusive games and timed exclusive third-party games and things like that. You need to be able to offer your people something that makes it worthwhile and makes it something worthy of picking up. So when you do see that, I think that makes a ton of sense, and now we have kind of a better idea that this game could be a little bit longer than we previously thought. It may have launched with its fair share of issues, but Stalker 2 is undoubtedly ending the year as one of the most notable releases, and at least for the foreseeable future. There's no telling how long PlayStation audiences will also have to wait before getting their hands on the game. The open-world first-person shooter launched the other month as an Xbox console exclusive, and now developer GSC Game World has no plans for bringing the game to PlayStation 5. Speaking with Tech for Gamers, game director actually stated that for now, the studio is focused on post-launch support for the horror shooter on the Xbox and PC versions. Quote-unquote, we were fully focused on developing and now supporting the PC and Xbox Series and X and S versions. So one would assume that Stalker 2 will eventually make its way over to the PS5, though there's no telling how long the wait will be. Back in 2021, leaked documents suggested that the Xbox exclusivity window for the title would be 3 months long. Though if that is accurate, that doesn't necessarily have to mean that the PS5 version is certain to arrive as soon as the window is over. So GSC Game World has released a couple of updates to Stalker 2 since its release, with plenty more to come. 2 expansions are also in the work, with finer details on post-launch support expected to be shared in 2025. So again, a good idea of pointing out that, you know, yeah, this game, to be honest with you, it obviously is a game that the exclusivity window was okay. Well, it has to be 3 months before. That doesn't necessarily mean that 3 months and boom, we're going to see, you know, the game on PS5, especially given all the circumstances like surrounding this game and the development process and things like that. So what that means is, sort of, if you want a comparison, like the Final Fantasy exclusivity windows went out the door and, you know, a while ago. If you didn't know that, like, those games can come to Xbox, but it doesn't mean that they're coming to Xbox like right away, and that's just probably what this means, you know what I mean? So it is a little bit of a notable release. So, you know, you get some of these timed exclusives or whatever that kind of pop out, and, you know, people get excited about this stuff. So that's kind of where we're at with this. I do think that, you know, Microsoft is in a little bit of a good place with how they ended the year. You know, you end the year with Stalker 2, you end the year with, you know, Indiana Jones, which I think is probably their best game in a very, very, very long time. And I think that really kind of just goes in to show that, you know, anything can happen, and I like seeing that, you know. So hopefully you guys are, you know, happy with the game or whatever. If you enjoy it, hey, all the better. For me anyway, it's not something that I was like, oh man, I can't wait to play Stalker 2. I think the game, from a graphical standpoint, looks tremendous. It's just a game that I personally can't really get into because, you know, it's just something that I'm not exactly interested in. So, yeah, you know what I'm saying? We'll see what happens down the line. But again, all the more reason to kind of, I guess, get into like Game Pass and get into Xbox and, you know, see what's up there. So, you know, we'll see what happens down the line. But, you know, again, I love seeing the different type of people and different types of gamers that enjoy these types of games and announcements and things. I still think, you know, Game Pass and Microsoft have a long way to go in terms of what they have to offer fans and things like that. But, you know, at least it's getting somewhat better in terms of the quality, you know, because that's why, you know, a lot of people look at what Xbox is offering and go, you know, they really don't have that quality that, you know, that Sony does or whatever. And that much is true. Like, it's hard to be an Xbox fan and not admit, hey, the quality just isn't there, isn't as on target as what the PlayStation stuff is. You know, you play, load up God of War from 2018 and play the first hour of that, and then load up any Xbox game, and the quality just has not been right there. And I think Indiana Jones might be the game that finally starts to see some of this quality come out for, you know, Xbox, and hopefully that starts a bit of a trend. Because we need to see that, you know, we need to see like the competitive juices flowing. We need to see Microsoft and Sony competing for our dollars. You know, it needs to be that way, you know, and people don't realize that. And I bring up competition and I bring up all this stuff, and some people just ignore it when I say it. But honestly, there really does have to be that competition there. And, you know, the more competition, in my opinion, the better. And it helps us. We get the better deals, the better hardware, the better software, the better everything. And that works out tremendously, in my opinion. So we'll see how that changes in the future. I think 2025 could be a make or break year for Xbox in some ways. I'm not suggesting that they're going to be dead in 2025, but I got a feeling we're going to see what the future has to say. So, you know, we'll see. Let me know what you guys think. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, rack 'em up, fact 'em up, crap gamer 'em up, crap gamer out.